Yes. Hey, everybody.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Whatever. You know how many people smiled ear to ear? Do you know?
Oh my God. That was a long time.
That was 14 episodes, 2 Patreon, and 12 out into the world.
First of all, Monty, I want you to put a clapping hands and an ovation, standing up ovation for Antoinette Lee Henry for the incredible podcasting guests that she invited, and the content was contenting, the conversations were slapping, lessons were learned, tears were shed, laughter reverberated into the world. You ain't crumble. One thing Antoinette is not going to do is ever fucking fold. You understand?
You're annoying.
And she deserves the round of applause, okay?
Can I ask you a question?
What?
So all the tears that you shed and all like the moments, how many episodes should you listen to?
I listened to Friends.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew that was the one.
I listened to Friends. And I really want to listen to Vans, and I really want to listen to Chescalating, which came out today, which I didn't have a chance
to.
Her
name is Francesca Ramsey. Chescalating is the Instagram. Chescalating is old.
Oh,
we are into Francesca Ramsey now.
I apologize. What? Francesca.
You need to listen to you need to listen to all of them, but the fan favorites were Dustin. I shouldn't say that, but I'll say it. Dustin had people were obsessed with Dustin. They said Dustin is the perfect mix of both you and me. And I thought that was such a clever way to describe him because he is amazing. You need to listen to Marquise because he was talking his shit.
I know that's right.
He was just so good.
But the curation, you know what I mean? We didn't have this plan. Joelle, she just came up,
Work Bay,
and showed out.
We did not have this plan.
Justin is the manifestation of Riz.
Justin?
He is the... What?
Who's Justin?
Oh, what's this? Edit that.
No, please. That's so funny.
You have to edit that out.
If you care about me, Dustin with a D.
Stop.
Please.
No,
please.
Internet. Monty, this is my consent. You have to edit that out because I met this man too many times to fuck that up. So we start from the top. Stop laughing.
Justin Timberlake? He wouldn't even be mad. He would crack up, girl.
No.
He would crack up.
I cannot. Never mind.
No. Keep going.
Dustin is the manifestation of Riz. I met him at the Bet on Black, and that man is just, he was the host of Bet on Black.
I didn't realize that was where y'all met.
I met him before, but one-on-one, like the most recent.
Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't really kick it with him. And I didn't get to see him interact with other people in that way and see him work as well. But he is a smooth motherfucker, composed, in control.
You know what I think about Dustin? Dustin is the person that can do a chemistry test. You know, they do chemistry tests between two different people to see if they're going to mesh on a show. He will literally work with anyone. You put Dustin across from anyone that is not a lame. If they're a lame, he'll still work because he's going to play the shit out of them, but in an endearing way. Dustin will always get work because he is just highly intelligent. He can read the room and get in where he fits in while still being his authentic self. It's that's how he does the friend zone. That's how he goes over and hops on a super legal podcast with Ebony K. Williams.
Who's having a baby? Did you see that?
Baby. That made me so happy.
And smile from ear to ear. Shout out to her.
But he's a NAACP winning host.
And he deserves it.
Let me know when Shanti's back. I'll be more than happy to come back on Antoinette. I had a good time.
That's exactly how he sound too. Just a motherfucking professional.
Yeah.
I love that for him.
But since we're on this, and I don't want to hog up your updates, but I would like to thank Jade and Crystal, excuse me. I'm used to calling her by her real name. Jade and Crystal. Work Bay Pod. Shout out to Nana and Obi. Shout out to the National War Tax Resistance Coordinating Committee.
And
shout out to Dustin again. Shout out to Joel. Please make sure you buy his book. Shout out to my girl, Mandy B. I love you so much. I'm glad you're feeling better. Shout out to Fran, who I knew as soon as you saw her episode go up, that would be the one that you listened to. Shout out to Marquise, who everybody loved, who had the highest performing clip. That shit went lightweight viral. Okay. He is brilliant. Shout out to Olay because that fast talking, how you say it, Bahamian? Lady from the Bahamas ain't no goddamn joke. Okay. Shout out to Van, who I saw somebody on Spotify. I deleted it too. Like, I couldn't even get through the first 5 minutes. He doesn't even sound like he wants to be there. Just so y'all know, Van hopped on a flight from Miami, landed, and opened up his laptop and recorded with me to help me out. So
shout out to you, Van. Shout
out to him for coming home and doing that. I really appreciate that.
Community.
And shout out to Francesca. Shout out to Francesca Ramsey, who was putting us all onto game, who you said is one of the tried and true, one of the first to do this content creation shit and really pop off. And so what an amazing group of people to know. What an amazing group of people to be supported by.
I think it speaks to the relationships that you have, though, that those people were like, oh, you need help? Say less. Because all of those people are people that, I mean, by degrees of separation, but majority of them are close to you or care about you and wasn't going to see you down and out. So I think it goes back to you as well.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to get into the more love and light significance of the break on the Thursday episode. So I'm gonna just share with y'all my revelations that I've had, and I did my best to write them down as they came to me at this moment of solitude and taking a break. Okay. You know, I really realized that, and this is very important, especially in these summer months, because fruit is purchased more often in the summer months. And we like to put our fruit in the refrigerator because we don't want it to spoil. And we take it out and then we try to eat it immediately. And you can't do that. Fruit has to warm up to room temperature to be eaten. If you take a cold strawberry and eat it, it is not the same of a room temperature. And I say that for all fruits. I want you guys to experiment with that. It was a deep revelation for me and a very exciting and satisfying one as well. I also jumped back in. Martin is on Netflix, and I watched it and I really felt a pining. I felt a deep attraction.
Yeah.
Envy, excitement, glee. I want my relationship to be like Martin and Gina's. I love them. I love the way their love and their fights and the way that they resolve shit was written out. I love that show. And as an adult and as a woman, I really appreciate the writing of it and those characters. And I have a big crush on young Martin of the show.
Oh, Martin now couldn't get it?
Martin, real life Martin now, tricky. We can talk about that another time.
Problematic. Good.
I want to thank the Around the Way Curls community for helping a sister out. I have figured out how to fry chicken. I was using the wrong oil. Y'all told me, you led me to the right oil. It is peanut oil. And I'm frying. I was talking to Antoinette yesterday, frying chicken. It's actually a problem. I have a Dutch oven as well, which really helps with the frying process, seasoning it well. So my life is made over here. I realize as well that you cannot do anything without support. Anything. And I can jump into that later on the next episode. And that was a sobering and humbling realization that I had. I have to move my body daily. It's a non-negotiable. And I might have to close my window because they decided to just, you hear that? They're blowing leaves. So I might have to sweat a little bit for the Patreons, but patrons on the Patreon. But my revelation came from getting a knot on my head. I went to.
You're gonna tell this story?
I'm gonna tell this story. I went with my girlfriends, Jasmine's house for
It was
Mother's
her
Day
fault.
celebration, and somehow I don't know how this came about, but
Jasmine?
rumor had it was that we were going to have a street race.
Wait, no. Jasmine's goofy self said, I feel like racing. You can't beat me. And started going up to people talking about how nobody could beat her and got everybody all excited about racing outside in a very narrow street. Now you go ahead. And you were the main one talking shit.
When she mentioned racing, there was something that lay dormant in me that immediately was awaken, arisen. That shit got up, erect. It was up.
Shut up, yo. Shut up.
And I said, oh, I was filled with so excitement for this because I really knew that all those people out, it was a lot of niggas too. I was like,
It was like 20 of y'all.
I can beat one of y'all. I love racing as a child. I was fast, young girl. So we got into a line. It's a narrow street. We got into a line of about 12 to 15 people. Antoinette was at the end of the race to receive the winner and recorded it.
What did I say though? What did I say?
I wasn't paying attention. I didn't pay. All I could think about was like,
dumb.
I'm going to dog these niggas.
I said,
that's all I thought.
Dumb. Somebody's gonna fall. This is not safe.
On your marks. Get set. I had on sandals. I switched to some sneakers. She enabled me.
That's what I'm saying. It's y'all fault.
She brought me the sneakers. On your mark. Get set. Go. When I say I was pumping my legs and these hands.
You was out.
I will say you was out. All of a sudden I feel this forceful pull. And my head goes, oh God, my legs were moving so fast. And my mind was going, you're falling and it was like a cartoon where the legs are spinning. And I said, girl, you gonna fall. Maybe you can catch your balance, but your legs are going so fast and gravity's pulling you down. It's over. And I fell head first.
Never hit the ground first.
Your arms
never hit the ground. Your head hit the ground first, full speed.
And I spun, tumbling down.
You hit the ground, you started rolling, and then you laid there on your back and did not move. Pause. Please close the window. She gonna be in there hot. Monty, please take this out.
What happened?
Go ahead.
And I had a big knot on my head. Unfortunately, there was no gushing blood. It was just a scrape, but a very large knot. Speaking of Martin, reminiscent of the boxing fight.
You skipped over the tear that you caused many of us. Because Shanti, you really didn't move. I have the video. Don't make me post this shit so everybody can
No,
see
do
how
not
upsetting
post
this
that.
is.
No, I fucked myself up
It
because I
was
was sitting there.
upsetting.
I was just like, it hurt.
And then everybody was like, oh, damn. And they're talking about get up and pulling you up. And I was like, get the fuck off of her. She could have a head injury. You don't move somebody with a head injury. I was all upset, turned into the jerk of the crowd. But that was really scary. It's funny now.
But do you want to know the scariest part?
You would have did it again.
I would do it again. And so there is an athlete in me that was never yes, that I did not get, was not realized.
Oh my
because
God.
that competitiveness and that excitement never performed. And so now I'm doing my best and I'm trying to work out daily and walk and move my body because it does something to me that is spiritual. And those are my revelations of the break. More to talk about in the next episode.
It just made me mad.
I'm sorry. I told y'all.
You got that. There was an athlete in me. Did you get anything else from that?
I just
that
told
it was
you
dangerous.
but I just told you I would have done it. That's the
you would do it again right
part.
now.
I would do it if there was if they were like, yo, we're gonna have a street race. I would say, hell yeah. I would make sure there wouldn't be a whole bunch of us, but there would be nothing that stops me from racing. And I know it's sick. I told y'all that.
At least you would stop. You would prevent it from being a lot of y'all.
No, I would never do that again. I would never do that again. But I would never back down from a street race. It's the same energy when I get drunk, Antoinette, and I want to do push-ups. But the you same weren't thing. Drunk. But it's the same energy. It's the same like, all right. I don't know what it is.
Or just hard-headed, bull-headed bullshit. What's your things in your chart?
No, that's it.
What do you have in your chart?
Doing it.
What do you have?
Sag, Aquarius, and Gemini. I have a lot of Sagittarius in my chart. I have an inner athlete in me, dog. Stop fucking playing with me.
All right. I just can't believe it. I'm seeing you go down head first again and seeing your hair flailed. Jasmine's little brother was mad. He was mad at all of y'all. And he took care of you.
He really did. And I was pulled down as well. I will say that. He pulled me down. I didn't fall.
See?
He grabbed me down.
You tripped too, Shanti. I have the video.
No, he pulled me. I tripped once I lost my footing.
He fell behind you because it was too many of y'all and tripped you up. Yes, and then when he was going down, yes, his hand.
He pulled me. He yanked me down.
All right, girl.
He yanked
me. You got it. All right, Flojo. Shout out to Crystal for graduating. She's a master. And we have been celebrating the girl, and the girl is taking it in. Shout out to all the girls. They are on a lovely cruise, like the aunties they are.
They went on a boat cruise?
Yeah. I love it. Crystal love a cruise. So that's where they all went. So it's very nice. Congrats to my girlfriend, Angela Arias, on her nuptials. The girl is married. She's a married girl.
Oh.
She's a wife. She's a mama. She's a homeowner. And she's a whole adult. And we just celebrated her. And in true Angela fashion, the way in which she told us was through text.
My girl's a kid.
She said, oh, by the way, should just let you know that such and such and I got married. So good job by you. Very proud of you. Blue is not with me right now. Blue has been with her grandmother. She's back with her grandmother. Blue, also, I'm getting reports about Blue. Because every time I talk to my mom, that's all she wants to talk about is Blue. She doesn't have any interest in me and how I am and what's going on in my life.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Even when It's fine. It's her
It's
grandchild.
not. It's
It is. I get it because Blue is cute. But even when I call and when I FaceTime her, she goes, "Hey," and then puts the phone in Blue's face. "Do you want to say hi to your mommy?" And all she does is stare at Blue and laugh and smile while she talks to me. Blue also scratched her. Blue has never scratched
Ooh.
anyone.
Your
And I
mom getting on
said,
Blue nerves, dog.
let me tell you. My mom said, I think Blue thinks I'm a cat. And I said, why would Blue think you were a cat? She said, oh, because she scratched me. I couldn't believe it. And I said, Mom, this is very concerning. Blue has never scratched a human. What are you talking about? She's like, I got to go to bed. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I call her the next day. I'm like, I need to know. I want to know about this cat's behavior. If I got to come get her and get her together now. And my mom goes, well, I was on the floor with her playing. And I was like, playing like what? She was like, scratching her with my claws. And I said, so I would say you were on like all fours. So my mom is on all fours chasing this cat around the room,
harassing her,
going and scratching at her. And so Blue's like, I will
fuck
and was
you
like,
up.
and got her on her hand. And then my mom said, she said, that really hurt. And then Blue did it again.
Damn.
And she couldn't understand that we're playing. This is how we play, right? And so now my mom is trying to get her to understand that she's not a cat. But I was on the phone with my mom, and my mom was sitting there, and she put the phone by her hand. She said, watch this. Blue is next to her. And she puts her hand on the couch, and Blue put both paws on top of my mom's hand and started purring.
Oh.
And I said, y'all are seriously in love. And it's sweet, but I'm going to get my cat soon.
How long has Blue been there? She on vacation? She at camp?
She's on vacation. Yeah, she's on away camp. She's been there for a minute. When was the last
stay
time?
there for the summer, girl. Let her stay there for the summer.
Girl, I would. Listen, the guilt that I feel now that I sometimes don't stay at my house, and when this cat is in here, and especially during the summer, because a girl is not running the AC all while for a cat. The windows will be open. Shed. Okay? No, I'm not paying all that money.
I know that's right.
So
get a job.
Right. I'll leave the fans on now. You be all right. Got a water filter. So I don't know. But Blue's been there since Mother's Day. That was when I went down. And
I think she should stay there for the summer.
I think you should text
Jude
that.
I've been thinking about this, and I think Blue should have some summer camp.
Yeah.
Keep her away.
I agree. I'll send whatever she needs. Just keep her occupied, Judy.
Send your mom $25 for food or whatever. Just
she playing though, because she keeps being like, and then sometimes I take her on the balcony. I was like, yeah, you need to stop, because if my cat runs away, I will never let you live that down.
All right, Blue has never been outside.
And she doesn't have her shots, and she can't fight. So what are we talking about? Anyway, that's it. Half an hour of nonsense updates, but here we go.
Know
We're
what's
back.
Happening. They got to know. We got to put them deep.
We really told them. We really gave them some real critical information there.
Warm up that motherfucking fruit, okay? Act like I ain't never told you, though. Don't be eating no cold strawberries. It ain't right.
Girl, there is a man on Troop.
Excuse me?
Here. There's a man on Troop. The street is Troop in Bed-Stuy. And he's the watermelon man. He's an older gentleman. And he sells watermelon out his truck. And it got a big old sign that says watermelon with seeds.
Yeah,
with
because
seeds.
Dr. Debbie don't play that seedless bullshit.
Let me tell you how I pulled on over. I said, oh my God, the watermelon man is there. And he is so feeble.
Oh.
And he's older now. And so he has even a hard time lifting the watermelons. And so this is how he gets you. Guess how much money I spent on one watermelon?
It's seedless. It's seeded though. What?
Seeded. Guess how much?
About $12.
Higher.
$15. It's a big
higher.
A big thing?
It was big, but
$20?
Higher.
Girl, I don't want to guess anymore.
$30.
No,
on
how
a watermelon.
Big was the watermelon, Antoinette?
It wasn't a huge watermelon. It was a watermelon, the size of a watermelon. It was probably like that big. I ate the shit out that watermelon. It was so good.
Black people eat all types of shit, but draw the line when it comes to seeded watermelons or seedless watermelons.
I don't want a seedless watermelon. That's not right.
But that it doesn't make sense to me.
It does make
the
sense to
shit
me.
that we eat, but they're like, that watermelon got don't got seeds in it. That ain't natural.
Let me ask you a question. If you were to sit down right now and they with some colored pencils and a piece of paper, and somebody said, "Draw me a slice of watermelon,"
It's going to be green, red, and black.
Thank you.
I
Enough.
too
All right.
am going to pay for it as well. I'm going to get the
But did you
seeded
hear
ones.
what you just said? What were the 3 colors that you named?
Red, black, and green.
Okay. And what does that remind you of?
Yeah, but like in
We out.
terms
The blacks. And that is exactly why.
we ain't care about nothing else we put in our mouth, but then we're like, no, my watermelon got to have seeds
It's
now.
gotta have
Everything else.
seeds. And he the only person in this whole godforsaken world that
But
that has
$30
seeded
for a watermelon is quite white
The
and
craziest
gentrified.
thing
I don't
is
like
that
it.
I plan on doing it again.
I don't like
I'm
it.
going to get more watermelon from him.
Well, shout out to him.
My man is going to be irritated, and I don't care because he could not believe it. So can't stop, won't stop. Anyway, everyone, we're obviously back. We obviously haven't chatted like this in a minute, so bear with us. We'll try to center ourselves, but please rate, review, and subscribe to Around the Way Curls. Please share. I've been trying to be good about thanking everybody who shares the clips on social media. That is so helpful. Every time people share the clips, people share the actual podcast, not just the memes, but share the clips. We have an influx of follows, an influx of like comments and of engagement, and that is just super duper helpful. So if there's a clip that you bang with, then please share it. Also, speaking of clips, just so everybody knows, I know that accessibility is important. Riverside's been acting up, and that is why there has not been captions on every clip. Something is wrong with the transcription device thing on Riverside, and I don't have Premiere to put the captions on there, but I've been paying some people to do it, but we can't just keep doing that all the time. So it's tricky. We will try to have captions all the time, but it's hard. Also, why don't you get back? Do the Patreon plug, Queen.
So, if you'd like to see our faces, if you'd like to see we matching a little bit, if you want to see the glisten of the summer sweat upon our nostrils and upper lip, please do consider becoming a patron on our Patreon. Shout out to the new
patron on our Patreon.
A patron on our Patreon. Shout out to the new patrons, Rolando, Victor,
Who that?
Liv, and
Shout out to The Walking Dead.
It is a video subscription membership. You have access to all of our podcasts in video form, as well as some extra content, which we shall announce soon as well. So shout out to the patrons that have joined, and please do consider supporting us and getting a little extra razzle dazzle to your Around the Way Curls consumption.
Also, if you are not able to join us on Patreon due to these tricky ass financial times we are in, we heard y'all, and our YouTube is now available. YouTube is available. All of the episodes, not all of them from 2022, because some of them I was like, ooh, the quality. But most of the episodes from 2022, 2023, and some of 2024 are now available for you to watch on YouTube. Patreon exclusive content will not be added to YouTube. I'm sorry, but at least you can see the podcast if you so choose. Episodes will not go live on the YouTube at the time of premiere because that is a Patreon. What is it? Patreon.
Benefit.
benefit. Thank you. That's a Patreon benefit. But about a month and some change after the episode's premiere, they will go live on YouTube. So I've heard great feedback. I'm happy that folks are watching. And that's also a great way to tell a friend. I realize that people like to watch things now. I even prefer to watch things. So tell a friend, say, hey, check these people out, and maybe send them an episode from there. All right. You ready to take a break?
Yep. After these messages, we'll be right back.
All right. We're rolling. I can't believe you told that story. I really can't. And I can't believe you would do it again.
I would.
You do?
I told you. It's not well. It's not from a place of reason, or it's still a little bit of a nut. It's. I know. I apologize, but it's the truth.
And we are back. Hot shit. I've been forgetting to do that with the guests. I have not been doing like hot shit in politics as usual. It's very tricky over here. I saw this on the Twitter sphere. Roc Nation is partnering with Philadelphia. Roc Nation will look to spread awareness by hosting events running daily from June 10th to June 21st throughout the greater Philadelphia area. Those in attendance will have a chance to learn more about the PASS program, which is the Pennsylvania Award for Student Success, which is also known as Senate Bill 757. So basically, Roc Nation is hosting events. Obviously, if there's an event that has Roc Nation's name on it, people are more inclined to come out. They're hosting events, and these events are supposed to help folks get scholarships. And you can get scholarships for pre-K. You can get scholarships for college, for all these types of educational programs. It's very interesting. It says half-day kindergartners can receive $2,500. K through 8th graders can receive $5,000. High schoolers can receive $10,000. Special needs children of any age will be eligible to collect $15,000. And then for the student to be able to receive the scholarship, their family cannot make more than 250% of the federal poverty threshold, which currently sits at $75,000 a year for families of 4. It's interesting. The events are I'm sorry, go ahead.
As someone who lives in Philadelphia and has sent her child to private schools her entire life, pretty much, except for when COVID happened and I homeschooled, this is wonderful. And I have been a recipient of similar kind of like
grants or scholarships.
Yeah. And it really helps with making it affordable. But it also just continues to kind of widen the gap between children go to private schools and then kids that attend public schools, and the resources that they get and the quality of education. Not to say that all private schools you get the best education, but in Philadelphia, yes, the fuck you do. And it excites me, but it also makes me feel like for some parents that don't necessarily have know about the private schools and the different, or the needs of the child, that doesn't necessarily allow them to attend a private school, whether it be that they aren't admitted, especially children who may not test into school, especially at the higher grades. It's like if you start at young kindergarten in private schools and you make your way up, then you're in. But like some kids may not qualify. Some schools you test into, and so when a parent becomes aware of it for their 4th grader, they may not test into certain private schools, and then there's they have to kind of contend with public schools. And not all public schools in Philadelphia are bad either, but it's interesting to your point.
I'm not sure if the scholarships are limited to tuition only. It sounds like that the scholarships could also help with books, could also help with things needed
Okay, I
for
hope so.
the
I hope
education.
so.
That's what it sounds like.
I would hope that would be
That
wonderful.
it's not just tuition, but yeah, that would be ideal. But
Yeah.
there's events, again, daily events. If you go, we'll link it in the bio. Can you write that note in there and highlight it in green? That's what I've been doing to remind myself to link these things in the bio. But there's events in, as we say, Huntington Park, not Hunting Park, Alany, Brewery Town, which is North Philly, Haddington, East Passyunk, Huntington Park again. Oh, and then it just repeats. They just go back. And so these are the areas in which they should be in. So that's very dope. Shout out to Roc Nation. Somebody was like, Jay getting ahead of this shit before everything comes out on him. That's not funny.
Yes, it is.
Also, something that excited me today, found out on Twitter again. Kaytranada has a new album. So shout out to all the Kaytranada lovers, to all the folks who like the oons oons a little bit. He's not oons oons, but he's not oons oons. But I say that because Mandy says that he's oons oons, and I'm
That's
like,
crazy,
you just
Mandy,
don't get
and you
it.
need to get it together.
Timeless is the album, and it's like a double kind of album-ish thing. Did you listen to it?
No, I mean, there's one single that I heard that's called Sweat Drip that I've been playing over and over, but I didn't.
Really?
I didn't listen to the album yet.
I didn't even know he had a single, but I listened to the album. I put it on in the background today when I could. And I like it. It's Kaytranada. And he just released it and was like, y'all have a good summer. Because he knows. So
good for him. For me, from hot shit, I want to shout out Yaba Blay. Yaba Blay is a brilliant educator and director and producer and writer, author as well. Add that to the title. She has a new film coming out, The Whites of Our Eyes. And Yaba's work is always, or most recently, is centered around beauty and beauty within the Black culture, touching on colorism and all of the ways in which all of the things that intersect with beauty, especially with Black women. And she has a new film coming out, The Whites of Our Eyes. And she has a little blurb. Amidst the ghosts of colonialism and the gods of whiteness, The Whites of Our Eyes questions ideas and ideals of beauty in Ghana within the beauty of Ghana. And Yaba is from Ghana and went there to shoot this. And Amani Perry and Rakia Reynolds both are executive producers. I don't know if Amani is, but I definitely know Rakia is like a Philly drawn. So shout out to Black women in Philly doing big things. Shout out to Yaba, who's writing a book and is producing this. That's my Sag sister, and I'm super excited for this. The film is premiering at Black Star Film Festival. I talk about this every year on the podcast. It's the first weekend of August 1st to the 4th. If you are someone that is interested, if you're a young Black person or young, old, whatever, interested in film, directing, acting, all the things that encompass that film world, I highly, highly recommend you go. And if you're in the tri-state area, especially, go to Black Star. It's like a warm hug. Really talented, dope, generous people. It's really amazing programming as well. And you can see some great films, and you can also have close contact with the people that make the films, which I think is really rare, especially, if you think about like more mainstream film places, it feels very, very cliquey. But I feel like this is an opportunity to really get close and speak with folks that you admire or that you're inspired by and actually have conversations and get yourself involved. So consider buying tickets at blackstarfest.org, and of course, buy a ticket to The Whites of Our Eyes because it's finna be lit, I think.
Dope. Congratulations to Yaba and Maori. Politics as usual. Update on Gaza. So, couple things. An Israeli airstrike on Thursday hit a compound that was operated by UNRWA. We talked about UNRWA before. UNRWA is an organization that helps provide aid to Palestinians. And UNRWA was accused of knowing about October 7th attack. And so a couple of leading countries around the world, including the United States and London and England, pulled out their funding of UNRWA until it was uncovered that that was unfounded. Those claims by the Israeli government were unfounded. And so the funding has been restored. So they hit a compound. And when I say compound, I mean a complex in Gaza that had become a shelter for about 6,000 displaced Palestinians located in central Gaza. And so the Israeli military said that its fighter jets, had targeted 3 classrooms in the middle school building that held 20 to 30 Palestinian militants affiliated with Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, a smaller militia like Hamas that is backed by Iran. Israeli forces they claim, twice postponed the strike in order to reduce civilian casualties. 40 people were killed in the attack. 14 were children. 9 were women. Later in the day, the Associated Press reported different numbers, saying that at least 33 people had died, including 3 women and children. It's hard to get super accurate numbers out of the region right now. This is all on the heels of Biden, like we discussed last week, saying that there was a ceasefire deal that he backs, that he feels Israel backs, and his position is still that Israel backs this deal, despite Benjamin Netanyahu saying that he does not, that he will not stop the fighting until Hamas has been destroyed, which, as we discussed last week, all of Hamas is not even in Palestine or Gaza. So Biden he doubled down on this. And he said publicly for the first time that he is urging the ceasefire to happen, that a ceasefire needs to happen, and that both parties need to agree to what he believes is a fair and just agreement. He said this publicly. Most people are saying that and believe that he's doing this because he's trying to put pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu. He's also trying to signal to much of his base that are very disheartened by him and his foreign policy. And he's between what many feel is a rock and a hard place because Netanyahu won't listen, but the United States' interests in that region determines his being complicit in all of this. And so we have to see what's next. How much more pressure can Biden put on him while also supporting it? And I personally think that the only way that Netanyahu might listen is if we withdraw our military support, our bombs, our fighter jets. I don't know if that's going to happen. Highly doubt it. But at the very least, the language is a lot stronger than it's been, and he's actually calling for a ceasefire. Maybe it's to just protect himself politically. I don't know. But not only is he, there are 14 other major countries that backed Israel in the beginning that are now also saying enough. That's the Gaza update. Do you have anything to respond to there?
I do not. No, I
Okay.
don't have much faith in Biden doing anything that will actually stop this wheel from turning. But
Okay. Speaking of Biden, we're gonna keep it domestic right now. Biden recently came out with an executive order regarding the border here. We've talked about the border on the podcast before. This is something that you've been very interested in, and recognizing that it is an important issue. Definitely in New York, it's an important issue, as we have, I want to say, if not a million, hundreds of thousands of migrants currently living here and being housed in some of our hotels all across the state. But the executive action establishes a rule that will turn away migrants who are claiming asylum between ports of entry after there have been 7 consecutive days of more than 2,500 trying to basically come into the country seeking asylum. So to make this clear, we are turning away migrants at the border until 7 days pass where less than 2,500 migrants attempt to come into the country to seek asylum a day. That has not happened since 2020, and that was during COVID.
Right. Like,
so basically what is being said is, we need this to slow down. When it slows down, we can pick it back up. But also the rule, I want to be more clear about the rule because a lot of people are stopping there. But let me just keep going. The United States will start accepting migrants who are claiming asylum only if only if that time has passed. But migrants will still be able to use the CBP1 app, which is the app that they use to make appointments at the border, meaning they will still be able to claim asylum. This action applies to unscheduled apprehensions at the border. So if you do not have an appointment to meet with an officer, then, or not an officer, but a border control agent at the border, then you will be turned away until we go under 2,500 every 7 days. So the suspension and limitation on entry and rule will not apply to individuals who use the safe and orderly process. This is directly from the White House, such as the CBP, Customs and Border Protection 1 mobile application to enter the United States in a quote unquote orderly manner. There is, however, an exception for children who are crossing the border as unaccompanied minors. They will not be turned away.
tricky.
You said that's tricky? Okay, we'll get into it. The Border Patrol right now is seeing an average of 3,500 folks per day in recent weeks trying to come into the country. Okay, so let's get into the criticism from who and why. Republicans are criticizing this. They are saying basically, this is too little too late. This is a joke. You should have been harsher on the border. You've just had open borders, and now you're only doing this close to an election to basically pander to your base and to be able to say, oh, I tried, right? The very, very leftists, which are Democrats who are very progressive, think of AOC, think of Ayanna Pressley, think of the squad.
Yeah.
They are criticizing this, saying that we are a country of immigrants who should not turn away immigrants. Both are highlighting that this order isn't really feasible to carry out because there are not enough agents at the border right now to even apprehend the illegal crossings that are happening, one, and then deport the folks who they have to turn away, two, or even process the applications that are coming in. They interviewed someone today I saw who has been waiting at the border, who filed on this app or filed paperwork and has been waiting for 8 months. 8 months, because that's how backed up they are, because that's how many people are trying to come into the country. All right? There's other reasons for that too, but we'll get into that. So, for one time in our lives, the Republicans and the very far left are agreeing on some shit. This ain't gonna work, right? They're also saying this executive order is probably just going to be get tied up in the courts because he's going to be sued, right? Then you have the White House.
I'm sorry. Why is he? Do you understand the suing part? I don't quite understand that. The migrants are going to sue?
No. The immigration organizations, the pro-immigration organizations are going to sue.
Because they're saying that you have to let somebody that is in need. The law is that
they're
you have to let.
They're going to say this is discrimination. There's going to be all kinds of, I'm not a legal, I'm not a lawyer or a legal analyst, but they typically sue this the same way they sued Trump. Now, the White House and many Democrats this is their response to the criticism. The president, Biden, worked with a bipartisan group. What does bipartisan mean again? Bipartisan is Republican and Democrat, both. So he worked with a bipartisan group of senators to reach a historic border security agreement, an agreement that would have delivered significant policy changes, resources, and personnel necessary to secure the border, make our country safer, and that would have made the asylum process fairer and more efficient while ensuring protection for the most vulnerable. But it was blocked by Republicans on the behest of Trump. Why? Because Trump wanted to run on the fact that the border was not secure. We saw at the State of the Union when Biden was addressing this, the Republican senator who worked on that bill, who helped spearhead that bill, along with many other Republicans, shook his head when Joe Biden said that and said, they did. They blocked it. And he agreed. He has gone on record and said this was absolutely a historical immigration bill that was blocked. We were not in service of the country, and it's basically a damn shame. So now you have Joe Biden, who is like, what the fuck do you want me to do? I know we don't have enough agents. I can't give money to y'all for more agents. I can't give money to y'all for more folks there to process applications. Congress has to do that. And you block the fucking bill. I reach across the aisle. What do you want? And so it's very industry. I guess the political strategy too behind it is that Republicans are just going to say little too late. Trump's harder on the border. That's the way to go. The far left, they're pissed off, but they won't ever vote for Trump. They'll vote for Biden. So Biden's like, y'all can be mad. I can weather the storm. And also, feel free to criticize me openly to satisfy your very progressive bases because I need you to get reelected again. So I'll take the heat. And then you have Biden and the more central Democrats who are like, I'll be able to say that I fucking tried, not only the bipartisan way, but I also tried with an executive action. Both ways I was blocked by Republicans. What the fuck do you want me to do? You don't want a real solution.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I think it's really tricky for people that don't understand the attempt that was made by Biden, that was blocked, because then to your point, it becomes this this narrative of that I feel like a lot of progressives, a lot of leftists, and a lot of Republicans are doing, or mostly it's the most dangerous, I think, for the progressives and the Democrats of like, look, Biden is just like Trump. You know, he's closing up the borders as well. He's just as heartless, which I don't want to use the word heart in this because I don't think either of those niggas have hearts as well.
Okay,
but
yeah.
if you don't understand that history of what happened, then it's very easy to be like, not
one
understand one and the same and not understand the attempt that was made. But it feels like, it still feels like this is a crisis, and it doesn't feel like either one of them are talking about how important this is and how the source of it either. You know what I mean? I actually don't think that we are understanding what the fuck is going on and the consequence and the cause of it. And everything kind of feels like a Band-Aid on this major hemorrhage. And I feel like the progressives let everybody in. Does like that don't feel right to me, and I'll catch the flack that I can catch. Something about that doesn't feel quite right and feels very short-sighted, as well as we're just going to build a wall and block these motherfuckers out, because it requires this attempt towards humanity and care, as well as strategy and like politics and seeing into the future, that I don't know that this government or even any of us are really in practice of in this moment. And like, that is what it requires to keep this shit from hemorrhaging out and bleeding out and having very, very bad consequences either way. That I don't hear a voice, and mind you, I probably could do more research to find the voices, but all sides feels like y'all wilding, like this doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Why is this happening? What's the consequence of this happening? And I hear a lot of like conspiracy theories as well as the consequence of this. And it's all tied up with a lot of racist notions and nationalist notions. But like, what is the reasonable, more centered, more logical consequence to this? Because it's a crisis and nobody's talking about it in a way that similar to like climate change. Like, shit, this is serious, y'all. What are we gonna do? Like, can we get serious about this? I don't know. Yeah, but I'm definitely not. I remember our conversation around this and me being like, yo, he really did try, and this nigga Trump blocked it for his own political agenda, and I saw it clearly. So I'm not inflamed and angry at Biden at this point either, because he's also got a politic, and that makes sense.
Yeah, I think you bring up great points. I am disappointed in Biden, but not for this executive order. He has not, I don't feel, taken the border seriously as much as he should have. He hasn't really been down there to visit it as much. Granted, there's been a lot going on. Okay. A whole heap of a lot of other shit going on. So got you. But you've been in power for close to 4 years. And ever since I was a little girl watching the news with my parents, the border has always been an issue. You have been a senator for a bajillion years. Like, this is not new. What is a little bit new is the amount of people, the influx, and the amount of money that has been redistributed. Why can't I speak? redistributed,
Philadelphia public schools. We didn't have Jay-Z to
struggling.
give
Like, what
us
the fuck is
money.
on my
You know,
mind?
you're
The amount of money that's been
Phonetic.
redistributed so that it doesn't go to border agents. It doesn't go to the type of facilitators that we need down there, right? And then when Trump was in office, there was all this rhetoric around how terrible he was at the border. And he was. It's not rhetoric. He was splitting up families.
Heartless.
Kids were in cages.
No
Heartless,
humanity.
right?
Yeah.
Biden is also someone who was the vice president under President Barack Obama, who was considered, not considered, it's fact. He, what is it called? Oh, God.
Passed through, approved.
No, he did not. What is it called?
Rejected.
When you not just reject, you, if you're
Fuck
here.
that shit.
No, if you're here and he sends you home, why can't I think?
Deported.
Thank you. He was considered the deporter in chief.
Wow.
He was the most on his watch.
Of course.
And so to this notion that Democrats are not strong at the borders, not true. But also, what did you learn under him? Was there a better way to do it? What are we doing here? So I
Which
do
makes
have
you
some
think. It just makes me think like,
well,
deportations
sometimes have to happen. And I might catch flack for that. There were certain people that were deported if they had certain egregious crimes. Not that I think the criminal justice system, Olay was on, we talked about that. Not that I think that is super just. But if there are some folks, which in every community there are some folks that really, y'all might gotta go. And that's not just migrants. That's like white folks, black folks. Y'all just go sit down for a second. Like, what the fuck y'all doing? So I understand that. I don't understand. This is a very complex situation. What I do know is that former President Donald Trump, 34-time convicted Donald Trump, what he is proposing is that he is going to lock up people who are already in this country and deport them. That he is going to have a whole wing of the military dedicated to helping do that, to harassing folks. In Texas right now, you have citizens, not in Texas, excuse me, in Arizona right now, you have citizens terrified because there is a law that is being passed saying that border agents can stop you if they think that you are an quote unquote illegal alien. So that is just completely discriminatory. You know?
We talked about it before. Similar to global warming, these consequences are retroactively happening. You know what I mean? The consequences of this is because of shit, of policies, of actions,
it's been brewing. Yes.
It's retroactively from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. It's just not something that you can all you can do is control it, but you can't stop it unless you pull the source from the root, which is, the big ones, colonialism and capitalism. Right. And we're never going to do that. So we're just going to have to figure out how to fucking manage a hemorrhage. We're hemorrhaging. How do you put a Band-Aid on it, or you fucking tie that artery up and, put the stress on some other type of, I don't know, anatomy, another artery. I don't know. But like, it's impossible, damn near.
I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do, but I know we got to keep moving on. So if there's anybody if there's anybody listening that has a background in this, please hit us up. Please help us understand. Please come on,
especially if they have a
podcast.
history and understanding of the geopolitical consequences of America's influence on Latin America.
Yeah. Speaking of Latin America real fast, Mexico just elected its first female president, and she's already in talks with Biden over this and saying that she, like most Mexican presidents, is dedicated to figuring out how they can collaborate and work together, etc. The thing that's very tricky, though, is the Venezuelan president was like, nah, if they leave, they can't come back. They can stay right there with y'all. So even if you deport folks out of the US, now they're stuck in Mexico. It's like, what are we doing? Anyway, things that we can't get into but should mention. I have to mention this. Hunter Biden's trial has started. His trial again. The Republicans wanted to get him on his foreign connections and all that, but they didn't. What they got him on was the fact that he bought a gun during a time in his memoir where he wrote he was addicted to drugs. So you are not allowed to buy a gun while you have an addiction. That's a question on the application for the gun. And so they said, "Oh, got you," which is something that is almost never prosecuted because it's like, how the fuck do you know that? But he wrote a memoir. And so they was digging on this man, child. I am not mad that he is on trial. I think it's actually a good thing. And I say that politically, not for him. It's sad. But I say that because a good thing for Democrats specifically, Trump's entire stance right now is that the entire judicial system is crooked because Biden is crooked. If that was the case, Biden would not have his son on fucking trial. Biden has also said if his son is found guilty, he will not pardon him.
Okay, Biden, he said this is tough love, okay?
And it's when he speaks about it, it looks like it's breaking his heart.
Oh.
But it does. And a lot of people have said that this is probably backfiring on Republicans a little bit, which is interesting. On like more independents, like people who are wishy-washy on which way they're going to go, because the trial is really messy. It's highlighting the Biden's family's dirty laundry. Haley Biden, who was married to the late Beau Biden, who died of a brain cancer, testified the other day to being in a romantic entanglement with Hunter Biden. This is after his brother passed, due to the grief, due to that they started a relationship, and he had a hand in getting her addicted to drugs. She was on the stand weeping. Obviously, that's a hard thing to say, that my husband died and I went and started dealing with his brother, and then I was addicted to drugs. And a lot of people, what is being reported is a lot of people are like, they can relate to family members.
Girl, me too. My cousin, it happened to my cousin and them.
But they can relate to people being addicted, to having addiction issues, especially on the heels of the opioid crisis. So there is a real, you talking about matters of the heart. There's a real heart-wrenching thing happening with this trial. And people are questioning, why are we doing this? This person was not well. He actually needed help. Maybe not prison. And what's interesting is Olay highlighted this, where Joe Biden can understand that he doesn't want his son in the prison system, in the criminal justice system, that he actually needs a different type of care. So these white folks can understand it. These conservatives, these independents can understand it in this case, because these people look like that,
or poor people,
but not for other folks.
No.
So it's very interesting. This motherfucker, Edward Blum, I think it's Bloom or Blum. You remember him? Know who that is?
I kind of touch it on I highlight this as well for the Beyonce thing.
Oh, okay. This motherfucker has blocked the Fearless Fund. If we don't remember who he is, he's the person who got affirmative action out of here. Rallied all the Asian folks together.
He's a billionaire or something, right? Isn't he like
he's backed by 4 billionaires.
Oh, God.
And he also has his own money. But he's also been successful in upending voting rights all over the country. He has blocked the Fearless Fund, which is a group of women in, I wrote Florida, but I'm pretty sure it's Atlanta, who put their own money together, who started their own fund, who didn't ask for handouts, who took it upon themselves to do this, to award women, Black women, in the tech world and to attempt to close that gap. And he successfully sued them and said this is discriminatory to only give this to Black women, and fucking won. He has not lost yet. And so the thing that's really sad about this is that there are many things that's sad, but I think the long lasting impact of this is that this is going to trickle down to other companies. Companies are seeing the way that these rulings are happening. And so all of these outreach programs, all these efforts to level the playing field when it comes to DE&I are going to start to be rolled back because they're going to be like, this is probably going to get
Before we could ever
sued.
even really see the effects of them, because that shit, fucking American Express, Netflix, all these niggas started doing all that hiring, giving grants and setting aside money in 2020. We're not even actually going to see this fully blossom or the effects of it. I really apologize. I have to use the bathroom so badly. I apologize.
I saw you dancing
put the break
over
time
there.
down.
Sean's going to his masquerade.
Oh wait, did she send
dance.
pictures?
She posted on Instagram.
Baby boo.
Look at Shauna. Shauna is just
a
she
grown
loves
woman.
that boy. I know. All right, come on, because we going long. Ready?
Are these? Do you want to mention all of these? Did you take off the?
I just am gonna read this. I'm not gonna respond to it.
Okay.
All right.
How long his hair is? Oh my god!
It looks so good.
Go ahead.
Also, more Black folks are pandering to Trump. Most of them for a VP nomination. Byron Donaldson's getting his ass eaten alive. Pause. Or not pause. It's fine. Some people want that. Black folks, he says Black folks were doing better during Jim Crow because the Black family was together. He said a lot of other shit. But he's since doubled and tripled down, quadrupled down on it. He's been on all kinds of media outlets defending his boy Trump, who he loves so much. Tim Scott, his corny ass, is running around town telling everybody how Trump's guilty verdict is just an abomination. It's just wrong. How could they do this? How could they weaponize the criminal justice system in this country? How is that possible? It's like, are you Black? Also, 50 Cent, for real, I can't. 50 Cent visits the White House to lobby for more representation for people of color in the liquor and wine and spirits businesses. That's his priority. And then he took pictures with some of the most vile and egregious trash-ass Republican senators who could care less about his Black ass. They probably just know one or two songs and wanted a goddamn picture. One of the most flagrant ones being Lauren Boebert. Remember her? That was Miss Beetlejuice.
Was she doing a hand job or cutting up or drinking?
Beetlejuice. Cutting up that e-cigarette. It made me depressed. And it brought me back to a Martin Luther King quote. And then I'll shut up and we'll get into pop culture. There are Negroes who will never fight for freedom. There are Negroes who seek profit for themselves alone from the struggle. There are even some Negroes who will go over to the other side. These facts should distress no one. Every minority and every people has had its share of opportunists, traitors, freeloaders, and escapists. He basically said, Harriet would have shot some of y'all. So, Tim Scott, that's the one for me. Really irritates me. That mouth and them gums. Anyway, go ahead. Pop culture. This is you. You set this up. Absolutely. You were talking shit about this weekend. You set it up. Or that's not this weekend.
Surprise. Rihanna announced Fenty Hair on Instagram, in which she is releasing a series of hair products for the population. Her release was in a wig. Obviously, it was a wig. I think it was a wig. I feel like a white woman in that. Is that her hair? That is not her hair.
Remember, we said that about Beyonce, and somebody called us out about that on Twitter too. They said, "And look, you look dumb." And I said, "We did. You're right. Sorry." But that looked like a wig.
Now, fuck that. Beyonce has been wearing wigs for all of our lives. She's been wearing wigs now. Ain't nobody noticed she has.
Maybe she wasn't. Maybe there was a couple times she came out.
No,
and it ain't
no way
wrong with wigs. That's not what we saying. If you're, go ahead, you finish. That was a wig on Rihanna. That Tinkerbell wig, it was cute. I liked it. You ain't even like it, but I thought it was cute.
It's cute, but it's just like I want to see your hair. Like, I just don't understand that. I don't get it. Beyonce shut us the fuck up. But it's like, I want to see your hair. You're selling a hair product. That's like doing makeup and like, wearing a mask, a pretty mask or something like that. It's like, well,
it's like
what?
When Alicia Keys came out with makeup.
Bitch, you don't wear makeup. Alicia, if anybody that should come out with a makeup line, it should have been Lele. Because she was like, actually, y'all, I was wrong. My bad. Look what this shit's doing to me. Yeah. But I'm tired of all this hair stuff, for real. I'm tired of all these celebrities coming out with products.
Why, hater?
The one person that I was hype about, and I was like, this makes sense, was Tracee Ellis Ross, because she has been a hair icon for years. We've loved her hair, especially within the natural hair community. Of course, she represents the 3C and the curly hair girl, so it gets tricky in terms of the desirability and the optics. But I feel like if she were doing hair, I actually don't even understand in the hair announcement. Mind you, I didn't go on, neither for her nor Beyonce did I do the deep dive that you did, because you definitely came on here and read a whole fucking scientific announcement of what this Sacred could do. By the way, I'm interested in what your experience has been with Sacred.
I don't have mine yet.
Girl, you already told me you did.
Has not arrived. It hasn't arrived yet.
It didn't arrive yet. I thought you said it had arrived that day. But anyway, go ahead. She is a mogul.
That's not all you said to me.
She is a retail person. She's a god. I mean, Rihanna. Rihanna is flawless. Okay, every hairstyle that she's ever rocked, loved. But I wouldn't think of her. I'm just like, I want to see your hair. How's your hair doing under there? It's about hair health, It's about, if she were talking about scalp care, perhaps, maybe that makes sense. But I don't understand the...
Let me ask you some questions. Because this is what I'm seeing online. And this is where I have to ask myself, because I don't know the answers myself. So don't think I'm asking you these questions because I don't feel, or I feel differently from you. My first impulse is to be like, well, what's your hair look like, girl? I do think it's interesting that we said, it made sense for Tracee Ellis Ross because she's been a hair icon. And that goes with, we can't say that without addressing the fact that she never established herself as that, besides just showing up and wearing her hair the way she wears it. We crowned her that. We said, Tracee, you have the hair that we all want. And that's deeply rooted in a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, sure.
A lot of other stuff.
Right? I mentioned that, yeah.
And yeah, it made sense that Tracee did it because of all of the shit that we have going on that's rooted in that colorism and which texture looks good and all that shit. Fine. When I wish I had some. When these white folks come out with hair care products, I think like Jennifer Aniston, she didn't have her own product, but she was endorsing one. We've all crowned for a long time in the 90s. She had the hair. She was the hair girl, right?
Yeah,
we loved her hair, right?
Yeah.
Because we were told to love her hair.
White women, I didn't love her hair, but that was the talk of the town.
I loved her hair. I loved her hair.
I just knew white girls loved her hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we could see her hair. So there's something to be said about that of like, well, we see her hair, that's her hair, or we think, right? Because now Kim Kardashian running around here with all kinds of tracks and everything else in her head. We don't know what the fuck is going on.
We don't know what these white girls are putting in their hair.
But the assumption is that it's their hair. And if Kim K came out with a hairline, would we say, we need to see your hair? Take all that out. Will we immediately assume that? And I think that's what, or demand that. And I think that's that's where there's pushback from folks. I think what you're saying is accurate, because my initial thing is like, well, yeah, if it's the health of the hair, I'd love to see examples. And then the pushback is, you saw examples in the ad. She had all kinds of people with hair, with their hair out in the ad. So why do we need to see her hair specifically? Why do we assume, like, is the assumption that her hair is not healthy under her wig or whatever the case is? The politics of hair is just like, it's never ending.
If I were, I don't know an example though. If I was like, try my new lipsticks, and then I come on with a bare lip, you're gonna be like, and then you see the lipsticks on other people, you're like, oh, they're beautiful, but her as the representative of it, I don't think it's crazy to want to see her hair. I don't think it's crazy for people to say, even for Beyonce, because we said the same thing to Beyonce, like, hold up, girl, what your hair doing? And then she was just like, watch me work. I don't think Rihanna's going to do it. Maybe she doesn't have to. I actually did not see much criticism online about it. People
there
were
was
hyped
a lot.
up. People that I saw were hyped up about it and was like.
So why do you think that is? Why were they hyped up about Ree?
Because she can do no wrong.
Right. But then Beyonce called hell.
She can do no wrong. And Beyonce just touches on all the tender parts for people. And like, I don't know what the difference. I don't know. They're both excellent. They're both talented. They're both light skinned. I don't know.
I will say that for me personally, when I think of Rihanna, I don't think of hair care. I think of style. I think of fashion. I think of makeup. I think of iconic hairstyles.
Yeah.
I think like, Rihanna, you want to sell me some fly ass wigs? You want to sell me that pixie? Sell it to me. You want to sell me that red wig? Please, I want it. You want to sell me that mullet you had for a while? I want it. And I'm not to say that I don't want this or I'm not curious about it, but that's just, I associate her with those iconic things. I associate her with fashion. I associate her with makeup because that's been on par with her brand. That's been consistent. And so I saw a lot of people like, if this was some pieces, if this was some bundles, I'd be with it.
Let's go.
But I hear the criticism too. And I'm like, okay, let me sit down and think about, am I holding Black women to a different standard based off of when they come out with their products than their white counterparts? Like, I've never seen Josie, what was it? The people of Briogeo. I've never seen her hair. Carol's daughter. Like, I didn't care about her hair. And I just don't know what it's about. Go ahead.
When it comes to hair, and we know this, when it comes to being influenced by someone, especially in the world of hair, I would be more apt and excited to buy Haircare by Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion. Cardi B's hair, it's about seeing possibility for yourself, and it's about seeing an aspiration. Cardi B's hair was fucked up. She was frying it out. It was very short. It wouldn't grow. Cardi B's been on the interwebs making her little concoctions, keeping her hair protected under her wigs. Cardi B's hair is thick as fuck and down her back like Beyonce's hair is. Megan Thee Stallion, the same thing. When Megan showed us her hair, we were like, God damn, girl, what are you doing to get your hair like that? It's gorgeous. But I don't feel there's nothing that relates me in particular, somebody that doesn't wear wigs, but also I haven't seen the journey that Rihanna's taken with her actual natural hair to what she's trying to sell right now. I feel like aspiration and inspiration is very important, but the groundwork that what makes it fertile is like relatability. And there's just a disconnect there that yeah, maybe it's connected. Probably. I think all things are connected to some type of like political deeper thing, but also just like as basic marketing. Like I don't get it for that. With her makeup, she was coming barefaced and then putting her makeup on and showing us, and we were like, oh, we could do it too, but
she may do that. I definitely think for anyone and everyone have issue with like Kylie Jenner selling us a lip plumping lip when you have lip fillers. It's like, don't tell me that this product is going to do X, but you have all this other shit going on. Like, is this hair care for wigs and weaves? And I saw somebody else like, y'all don't wash out wigs. And I was like, you know what? I don't know about wig care. Maybe that's a valid point, because she even said protective styles. I don't know. But I understand like what you're saying. If somebody who, wears the flyest wigs, wears the flyest hairstyles, and it's not necessarily their hair out, selling me products for my own hair that, I just, my hair's never going to look like your fly ass wig. It's never going to be that full. Yeah. And please don't tell me it will. And maybe that's not what she's doing. We'll see. Her marketing thus far she hasn't missed. She put the whole industry on notice. So we'll see. And watch this shit as mom. I don't know. But I thought it was very interesting when I started looking at the ownership of these things, because I've been talking to people about Sacred, and not just Crystal, but like other folks who have tried it. And they're like, we don't know what these little Creole witches did. That's literally what this girl said. I don't know what these Creole ladies did, but they did something right in these products. And I said, for real? And that's what made me buy it. They said the conditioner is too thick for you probably, but that shampoo, get it? And that protein treatment, get it. I have low porosity hair though, so I don't know if I really need that protein treatment, but we'll see. Sacred, which I don't know if we've talked about, is fully funded, fully self-funded, completely, owns all of it. From 6 years of development, from the testing, from everything. The shit was her money, probably her mama's money, that went into it. And that's that. Whereas you have Fenty, all of Fenty, where, Rihanna owns half of that. The rest of Fenty, where is it? I wrote it down here.
Louis Vuitton Moet and LVMH is owned by LVMH.
Can you highlight that? Why can't I see it right now with my eyeballs? Where is it? Oh, I see it. It's up here. Yeah, it's 50% owned by LVMH. So I think it's interesting when you have other companies, especially companies like that, Louis Vuitton, Moet, Hennessy, who I don't know if I trust them as much with products, with the actual ingredients. They are like, we want to get this out, make it the cheapest, get it out the fastest, have it be the flyest, and get people to buy it. It's very profit driven. And I know this Sacred is also, I know Beyonce is still profit driven, but there's something to be said about when you use your own seed money. And when, I know you make fun of me about going on the website, but 6 years of testing, and Rihanna has said she's tested her makeup and it's tried and true. People are like, Nothing matches my face like this. I don't know. I guess my question is like, do you trust companies that are more self-funded, because it ain't startup, but more self-funded than companies that have these larger businesses, entities attached to them?
Not when it comes to mass distribution. If
Hmm.
Beyonce was Carol's daughter, like for instance, Carol's
Or
daughter,
Karen's Body Beautiful. Remember her? She was making that shit with her own
like
hands.
the quality and the
Okay.
the quality is always going to be better when it's small scale. But when you're talking about mass distribution, they're getting it from the same sources.
Huh.
You know what I mean? Like nothing's really different. The market value for the ingredients are going to be the same across the board. You know, it just becomes a lot of these products are not, maybe there's some differences, but they're pretty much the same ingredients, same chemicals, same manufacturing companies, put in a different bottle, figure out how to market it differently. So it depends on the scale to answer
Okay.
your question. But no, I don't trust that sacred products or ingredients are, or the quality of the ingredients are that much different than Fenty's.
Not even with that scientist lady that she always has in all her videos.
No, I just think she just got really good. Their marketing is just different. But nah, not
Don't
if
play with me.
they both trying to move units, child.
Well, I will say there's space for both of them. It doesn't. That was annoying to see. Like,
Oh,
oh,
it's
she
cracking me up.
she copying Beyonce. Gonna have to fight her now. And I was like, there's space for both of them. I mean, Taraji got Haircare line out. I don't know where it's at, but so does Tracy. There's space for all of these ladies. I mean, was it kind of similar to Beyonce dropping new songs during Usher's Super Bowl performance? Sure. You know, it felt a little like, damn, can she just let her have it for a little bit? Rihanna, damn. And Rihanna was like, no.
I wonder if there's like a deep rivalry that we just don't even know.
There's not.
What
I
if
don't
Rihanna
believe
is
it.
the driving force for Beyonce's like
All her disses.
all of her shit, like everything? What if it's like her?
Could you imagine?
I mean, Beyonce's
think
petty
they're-
enough, and Rihanna's petty enough too. That maybe they're just, who knows? I'm just joking. Don't. God, I'm gonna
They
get us
go-
canceled. God damn
No,
it.
you're not. I don't think with that. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Nah,
But shout out to them.
I'm this close
You
to getting
trying
sacred.
Fenty Hair?
I'm more interested in trying sacred right now than Fenty.
I already told you how to try Sacred. Jasmine bought the whole
Well, I am. I'm
thing.
invested.
Go over
Before I
there
was
and buy it.
resistant, and now I'm like, Jazz, can I wash
Or
my
use
hair?
it. Yeah,
She likes
girl.
it. Anyway, don't say nothing because anybody paying her.
Okay, I won't say it, but if you're on Patreon, then you saw. Which is partly why I said, okay. But everybody who was I seen, they're very happy. So shout out to them. It's expensive though, girl. But it's not more expensive than the products that you've been using.
Shit. Yeah, I just bought the K18 too. You heard about the K18?
K18 is very expensive. That's all Rima uses. Shout out to Hair by Rima. You bought the baby version too.
Because I was gonna get the big one, but shout out to the people at Sephora to tell me what to do, and they were like, "Nah, don't
try
do that."
it.
Yeah, try it. But it's because of Rima that I was like, "Let me try this."
She loves K18,
so I spend my money now. So I might spend it on. But you know who else raised their prices? Girl, shocked. Have you seen the prices now for this?
No, how much is it? I don't use it anymore.
$20 now. $20. Significantly increased.
She's holding up due, everybody, just so you know.
And I stick beside her because I love, but now I'm using this. Anyway, y'all not paying us, but you should because I love this one.
All right, that's only for the patrons then. Listen, I can't use that. That's not good for my hair. I have moved on to Inner Sense. Inner Sense is the new it girl for me. It is the whitest shit I have ever used in my life. But here we are. You got to go with the texture that you have, not with the texture you want. And Dew is weighing me down. I know that Dew changed their products. I know that they did because it wasn't doing that in the beginning. It's okay. Okay, I'm trying to play this clip. We're good. I think that we can play this Will Smith clip or we can talk about Michael Richards being back.
think you should save this because this is really rich. I really loved this.
The Will Smith one?
Yeah, I think this is a really rich thing because I have lots of questions and thoughts that I would like to carry you on to. So let's save that one.
All right. Do you want to
And
quickly talk about Michael Richards?
I mean,
Do you
sure.
know who that is? I'm
Yeah, I
curious.
had to Google it ahead of time. It's Kramer.
I knew you did. Yeah. Because when I saw them use his real name, I didn't know either. I was like, who the hell is Michael Richards? And then I said, oh, Kramer? Okay. Kramer's back, baby.
He about 77
and
coming back.
He's 75.
Hmm.
I watched him on The View.
Oh, he went on The View.
He
Good
went
PR.
on The View.
Very good PR.
He he sat there at the table with the ladies, and boy, did they soft pedal. I mean,
what would you have asked him? I'm so curious.
no, Sonny out the gate asked him. She said, back in the day, 18 years ago, you had said, you had a moment. Even the way she said it on stage was very interesting, where she's like, you know, you went into a bit of a racial tirade, and it was with kid gloves. They handled him with kid gloves, and he seemed, this is my word for the day, apparently, feeble.
It's a strong word. You call a nigga feeble. That's how you cut a nigga down. What you fucking feeble ass, weak ass, feeble ass nigga.
But he seemed it. His. You know how Gerard will hunch in and go inward and like be hunched over in that way.
Mm-hmm.
He felt that way energetically. He was talking in circles, seeming to be.
What'd he say?
Nothing. He basically was talking about how, you know, he really, it was a horrible moment, that he had deep remorse, and that he was explaining how he is as an actor and how he is as a comedian, and how he went into this character after being heckled.
He went into a character after being heckled?
That's what he said.
Get the fuck out of here, Michael Richards.
That's the thing. And how he went away, you know, and
Got
yada,
therapy.
yada, yada. That's my point. Went away, and what the fuck did you do while you were away? It was interesting to me because I've been thinking a lot about accountability, and I did an episode, shout out to Can't Afford Therapy, shout out to season 3 coming soon, on accountability and how to actually take accountability and realize that just saying sorry is not accountability. Just acknowledging the thing is like, that is not accountability. Nope. It made me think about Kyrie Irving. Do you know who that is? That's because that's a basketball player. Okay. I know that the sports shit. So Kyrie Irving, you remember when he tweeted out a video that many, I had never seen it, but the criticism was that it was anti-Semitic.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember? Okay.
Yep.
And he was playing with the Brooklyn Nets at the time. And the Nets, the NBA, had a litany of things he had to do to make up and show and prove. He had to sit with rabbis. He had to donate money to different anti-Semitism organizations. He had to do this many hours of this. He had to answer it in the media everywhere he went. He could not just go away and then come back with a book and be soft pedaled during an interview and then be like,
oh, he has a book. What's his name has a book?
Yeah. It's I forget what it's called. And so I just got to thinking of like, that double standard is so interesting. It's so interesting how white folks can just go away, just take a beat, let the shit die down real quick, and then pop back out like, oh hey. And even certain powerful Black men. That's what Marquise was getting into on our episode. But it's like, what did you do? You know, it made me think about the folks over in Germany who are like, no. If you are anti-Semitic, these are all the things that you got to do. You know, we as a country have to make up for this. We have to tear down all of the statues. We have to, like, there's just certain ramifications, certain steps taken to ensure that you understand the seriousness of your actions. And I could care less if Michael Richards, I don't believe in him being canceled, but I do think that there is I do think that there is something for us to examine as a collective community. When these people allowed to just come back in, and on what conditions? Because right now, it's unconditional. Just take a beat, say I'm sorry, and then you right back. Like Whoopi, Sunny, just
Especially if he's not
softballing
going
it.
into anything. I pulled up a little interview, and to your point, what he was harping on or talking about the most was his experience or his disembodied experience and how he put everything into his character on
Yeah.
Seinfeld, and how, you know, how empty he felt when it ended and he didn't get any work. And so then he went to go back to what he knew, which was stand up, and then to be heckled or not to be talented or received well. Some nigga was probably like, nigga, shut the fuck, you ain't funny.
That's what happened.
Exactly. But that's what he harped on, versus the more interesting thing is like, why
did you
at your
learn?
weakest, most vulnerable, was that what you was within you? That darkness was within you, and what have you done?
Do you remember what he said?
No, something like
He called okay,
called
he
him
said
an
he
N-word,
called
right?
him the N-word numerous times, screaming it. That wasn't the worst part. The worst part was a couple of years ago, you would have been hanging with a fork
Yeah.
up your ass. So
Yeah,
you
see that?
wielded that type of horrific white power, right? You wielded that. You were present enough to know that this person, this black person, it was a black man. This black man has no right to disrespect you because your life is not worth as much as mine. You could be hanging from a fucking tree, nigger, hard ER. Excuse
Yeah.
me? And then you get to just come back
Now get the fuck out
and
of here.
only talk
And
about
don't say
yourself.
that, and not and just talk about your hurt and why you did that versus getting into the darkness. And that's why, that's why I like what's the boy
Gerard.
name? Gerard, because he show us your dark side. We're interested in it. Toni Morrison has a really amazing I can't get the text of it, but she talks about the process of forgiving one's terrible actions, and she says it's only through the fire of shame, self-loathing, and taking responsibility. And it's a beautiful clip. And maybe we should even talk about this on
Maybe,
another
because I don't believe in that either.
episode. Oh, I would love to talk about this.
Yeah, let's talk about it, because everything that I've researched is shame is the opposite of accountability. It's not active. So yeah, let's talk about it.
I would love to do that. Yeah, no, he's still canceled to me. I'm not interested in it.
Oh, you're canceling. He's not canceled to me. He just
I'm
needs
not
to do better.
interested, or rather, I'm not interested in him coming back. He's coming back with nothing interesting or worthwhile or even in service of anybody but himself.
My observation is less about him. My observation is more about society and why certain people are allowed to come back and be softballed in that way. Larry David had him on Curb. They poked fun of it on Curb. I just rewatched Curb because my man is watching it. You know, where he's being chased in that scene where he's being chased around by the black folks because it's alluded that he said something, like, and we can laugh at it. It's like, well, wait a minute. You know, how I think like a couple days later, Jerry Seinfeld again was on, I think it was Letterman, because I remember seeing that, him on Letterman, and he wasn't there in person, but he was like videoed in virtual, and he was just allowed this platform to
and this
talk
was like
about it.
before 2020, when people realized the effects of racism, though. They were just like,
oh, see. But I'm just, I think we need to think about that. When people cause harm, what does the accountability look like?
Write that down. That's another episode.
All right, that and Will Smith. All right, y'all. We're back. This isn't really as long as it is because we had some pauses and things. So that's good. Good job by us. You want to say
I'm sorry, I can't do
we're
these
out?
ones.
No, I didn't know what to do. I see you typing and I'm like,
all right, y'all. Y'all take care of yourselves now. You be good.
peace to the gods.
The old and the new.
Not leave studio. How do I stop the recording? It's awkward. Don't say anything crazy because we're still recording. How do I stop the recording? Why it's not on there right now?